A young millionaire, a father shot to death, a missing ex-girlfriend, an innocent man who never came home after a test drive. What happened? What turned a man with everything into a cold-blooded killer? This video dives deep into the shocking case of Dellen Millard, one of the most disturbing criminal cases in Canadian history. With never-before-seen details and chilling psychological analysis, you won't be able to look away. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on our latest video.
This opening hits like a gut punch. A young millionaire, a father's murder, a missing ex-girlfriend. It's a story that screams privilege twisted into darkness. Dellen Millard had everything: wealth, opportunity, a family empire. Yet something sinister grew inside him. How does someone with so much lose their soul? As we dive into his interrogation, notice his calm demeanor. Is it shock or something colder? This case isn't just about crime, but what festers when power meets emptiness.
Okay, today is Friday, November the 30th, 2012. The time is 1:30 a.m. I'm Detective James Hutcheon, Hutcheon, badge number 6103. With me is
Detective Johnston, Johnston, badge 5058.
and also sitting with us is Dellen Millard.
That's correct.
Dellen, can you spell your first name, please?
Dellen,
And your last name?
Millard, Millard.
Okay, and you also have a middle name, right?
Evan,
And spell that, please.
Evan.
Okay, great. Okay, I'd ask that each of you acknowledge that you understand this statement as being video and audio taped and you consent to such a tape being made. Is that understood?
Understood.
Not understood, and I consent. Dylan, there's a camera up here, okay, and there's a microphone above your head. Okay, we're at 22 Division, which is 3699 Bloor Street West, Toronto. This statement will be taken under oath, solemn affirmation, solemn declaration, and will be videotaped. You must understand that it is a criminal offense under Section 139 and 140 of the Criminal Code to obstruct justice or to commit public mischief by making a false statement to police during an investigation. You must further understand that you may be a witness at a trial concerning the events you describe in the statement, and if at that time you recant your statement or claim it to be false, it can and will be used at that trial, and you may be liable to prosecution under Section 137 of the Criminal Code for fabricating evidence. Finally, you must understand that you are not obligated to give this statement, and if any person has, by words or acts, attempted to persuade you to provide it, you are to disregard those words or acts and only give the statement if you freely choose to do so. Do you understand your right to choose whether or not to make a statement?
Yes, I understand that.
Do you understand the criminal consequences of making a false statement?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand the fact that this statement will be videotaped?
Yes, I do.
And do you choose then to give a statement?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. At this time, I'd ask the Commissioner both to administer the oath. Be lucky.
What's going on? Will you be sworn on the Bible, sir?
No, I'll
No.
be.
Affirming. Okay, it's McDonald 86920, Commissioner Votes.
Just past 1 a.m., inside a cold interrogation room, a wealthy young man named Dellen Millard sits across from detectives, facing the moment that could define the rest of his life.
So I'm just going to ask you, do you, Dellen Millard, solemnly affirm?
Okay, Dellen. We're here with respect to an incident that actually happened yesterday, Thursday, November 29th, 2012, at, I believe, your home at 5 Maple Gate in
Yes.
Etobicoke. And what I'd like you to do is just start from the beginning as to what happened and that brought the police into this incident.
From the beginning, well, I don't know what happened yesterday, but today I got back to the house sometime between 6 and 6:30.
Okay, just today is we're after
It's
midnight
on
now,
Friday.
so we're Friday. So that's
Okay.
why I say yesterday as far as Thursday.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, I see. And so Thursday, sometime between 6 and 6:30, I got back to the house. I had been working at our family business in Waterloo. I came in through the side door. It's the door most everybody uses in the house. And I open up the next door, which leads to the cat area of the house. It's the door from the kitchen to the hallway. And then my dog Pedo was waiting for me there. And I walked down the hallway, and I walked to my room, and I picked a sweater out of the closet. It had been a cold day. And then I was on my way back to the kitchen to make a snack, and I noticed that my father seemed to still be asleep in bed, which was odd because it was late in the afternoon. And so I poked my head in, and something didn't really seem right about the way he was laying. He was laying very stilly. And I walked into the room, and I saw the blood on the pillow. And for a moment, I had to leave the room. I actually went back to my room, and I got out my phone, and I walked back into my dad's room, and I called my mother, and I told her what I was seeing. I literally said, I'm standing in my dad's room, and there's blood all over his pillow, and he's dead.
A frantic phone call. Dellen calls his mother, his voice trembling as he describes a pillow soaked in blood where his father lies motionless. No one knows this shock will soon spiral into a deeper horror.
And at first, she thought I actually meant my dog Pedo, because she kept asking about his dog bed. I said, no, not the dog bed. His bed's pillow. She said, well, Pedo's not dead. Who's dead? I said, my dad. And she just started screaming on the phone. And, well, I stayed on the phone with her for a while. I went out to the front. I left the room. I paced to the front driveway. I stayed with her on the phone for a while. And I tried to get her to take a taxi, but she insisted she drive out. And so she drove over. And I texted a friend of mine, Andrew Michalski. And I told him that something terrible had happened, and would he please come over? I didn't want to be alone. And he did. And we waited in the driveway together until my mother got there. And then she went in the house by herself for less than 10 minutes, more than 5. And she came back out, and she pulled out her phone and she called the police. Or, well, she dialed 911. And fire truck came first, then ambulance, and then squad cars. And
Hearing Dellen describe finding his father's body as chilling. His voice trembles, but is it grief or guilt? Imagine standing in that room, seeing blood-soaked pillows, calling your mother as she screams. The horror is unimaginable, yet Dellen's story feels too polished. The police sensed it too. This moment isn't just about a son's loss. It's the start of unraveling a monster. Wayne Millard wasn't just a victim, he was a father, flawed but human. His death deserved justice, not betrayal.
Okay. All right. So you were in Waterloo?
Mhm.
Um, where were you in Waterloo?
Waterloo Kitchener International Airport. We built a hangar there, a large one. And there was all kinds of mechanics.
They say tragedy often starts with the ordinary: a workday return, a dog, a sweater from the closet. But inside the bedroom, something far from ordinary was waiting: a lifeless body.
There, I moved a bunch of trailers around. We had to tidy up the floor to make it look more presentable.
Okay. So you work for the family business?
Yes, I do.
And the family business is
It's Millard Air Incorporated, and it's right now trying to be reimagined into an MRO, which is a maintenance and repair organization. And it's essentially a garage to bring airplanes to get them fixed. And a couple of years ago, we were a hangarage business on Toronto Airport. We rent hangar space to companies. And now we're trying to get into the maintenance side of things.
so this is a new endeavor then for the company?
Yeah.
Okay. And how's that going as far as like the new hangar and everything in Kitchener?
It's going. It's stressful. It's been about a year and a half of very hard work for everyone involved, and we haven't got a contract yet. So, from an accountant's standpoint, it's not going well.
Once a proud name in aviation, Millard Air is now struggling for survival during a complicated restructuring. But beneath the business stress, something darker has been festering inside the family.
How long has this business been up and running? Like,
Well, it's
like viable to start doing maintenance repair orders?
we got our license about 3 weeks ago. And it's been over a year of preparation to get to that point.
What's your position in the company?
Business card doesn't have a title on it, but I think legally I'm vice president of the company.
Okay. And when did you go to Kitchener?
Got there after 11:30, but probably before 12:30, somewhere in there, right around lunchtime.
Okay. And when did you leave Kitchener?
To come back.
Yeah.
To Tobacco. I don't know. I'm just backwards engineering the hours. If I got home around 6 to 6:30, I would have left Kitchener probably about 4:30 because I stopped in Oakville. I have a friend that comes with me to work, and I was dropping him off at home.
Okay. Now your dad's health. Can you tell me how his health was?
Well, he threw out his back. It's been a while now. 9 months ago, between 7 and 9 months ago. That really, really restricted his mobility. He was bedridden for 2 or 3 months. And recently he's been able to drive himself out to Waterloo. And he has an electric scooter there. He goes around the hangar.
Does he have trouble getting around in the house?
Despite declining health, Wayne Millard still made his way to the Waterloo hangar using an electric scooter. But behind that determination was a man quietly falling apart.
Trouble as though he can't do it smoothly. Or couldn't do it smoothly. It was awkward for him to walk, but he would go around the house no problem.
Okay. Any other medical problems?
It's a medical problem.
Heart, liver, lungs.
Strong heart, very strong liver. He'd have to be.
Pardon me?
I said it'd have to be.
Why?
He's always liked alcohol. He's always drank lots. And he'd have to have a strong liver.
Now, was your dad a big drinker or a regular drinker or an alcoholic? How would you describe him?
I don't like to say the word alcoholic, but it fits. He was a regular drinker, like every night, and more than I could drink. But he was also a regular non-drinker. During the mornings and days, he wouldn't drink at all. It was always just late at night.
And how much would he drink at night?
It changes over time, all the time. Before he hurt his back, he was into whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the one that's bigger than 2.6?
40?
It's like a big glass bottle like that.
Mhm.
So you probably do one of those in 2 weeks of whiskey. But then when he hurt his back, he stopped drinking altogether. He actually thought that it wasn't a back problem, that it was a kidney problem related to alcohol. And then more recently, just in the last 2 months, he's taken up drinking again. And it seems to be wine more. Has been wine more.
Your dad, did he have any guns in the house?
In the past, he has definitely. The safe that the detectives and officers have seen tonight, he's had that safe as long as I can remember. And he's opened it in front of me maybe 3 times in my life.
Once a gun owner, Wayne eventually gave his firearms to a man named Les Bede. But the detail of the safe and its hidden contents would later become key in the investigation.
And he used to have handguns in it. The last time he opened it that I saw was over 3 years ago. And it had a bunch of pistols in it then. But about 2 years ago, even 2 to 3 years ago, it had something to do with the gun registry that was going on. It prompted it. He said that he gave all of his guns to a fellow named Les Bede, who at that time was working for us. He doesn't work for us anymore.
So you gave them to Les Beatty?
Mm-hmm. My understanding was that Les would take them out in the country somewhere, a friend's property or a family member's property, and just shoot them for fun.
Do you have a number for Les Beatty?
Oh, no, wait. I don't have it on my phone. I never call him. But I did give it to an officer tonight. Because we have a, it's not a Rolodex, but it's our own little phone book in the house.
So your understanding was your dad didn't have any guns left?
No, I didn't think so.
Now you mentioned the safe. Do you know if there was a combination somewhere for the safe, or
His lawyer will have the combination.
the lawyer would have the combination?
I would imagine so.
Wayne's life was unraveling alcohol, failing business, a body breaking down. Yet Dellen paints him as a man still fighting. It's heartbreaking to think Wayne trusted his son, unaware of the betrayal brewing. The safe guns and secrets are like a puzzle with missing pieces. Why did Dellen buy that gun? This case shows how love can blind us to danger even in our own homes.
Did anyone else ever stay over in the house besides you? Like anyone else ever sleep over in that house?
Sometimes Mark would sleep over at my house. And then we'd just go straight to Waterloo from there. Not recently in the last maybe 3 months, but before that, sometimes I would have parties and people would have had too much to drive, so they'd just sleep over in the basement. That was never regular. That was sort of on just a case-by-case type of thing.
The basement of Millard's home was no ordinary rec room. It was a hidden world of parties, dim lights, and marijuana. A secret life unfolding beneath the family home.
What's the whole basement set up for downstairs?
For parties.
For parties?
We tried to make it look like a club.
Who set it up like that?
I did the interior design stuff for it. The paint colors and wallpaper.
And how often would you have parties?
This year I've had 2.
Would you advertise them, or
No. Just friends of friends.
when would your last party have been?
Somewhere in the middle of the summer. I don't know what month. When my cousins were over, and they only come in July. It's probably in July.
And what takes place? I saw there's Xbox and TVs and stuff like that set up down there. And drugs. There's some drugs down there.
We smoke pot.
Do you grow it?
No.
And the whole hallway with the bedroom and stuff and the room set up there, what's all that for?
That's just a guest room.
Just guest rooms?
There's just the one though. There's not guest rooms.
Have the police ever attended there for any of these parties?
I think a couple years back we had one get out of control, and we had to call the police to get people off the property.
How many people usually come?
Usually it's 20 or less. That night it was more like 300 or something. It was somebody posted on Facebook and it just went nuts.
When Tim Bosma left with 2 strangers,
Was he under a lot of stress with this new endeavor?
Lots. Lots this year.
Was there a chance the business was going to fail? And
Yeah, that chance is more than a chance.
is it still a chance, or
Oh yeah.
With financial pressure mounting, Wayne Millard pinned all hopes on a new aircraft repair venture. But 3 weeks post-license, no contracts had arrived, and hope was fading fast.
Okay, and how soluble is your dad if the business fails?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, like, based on the fact that it was your grandfather's Millard Air company, a big transportation company, sold his hangars in Toronto.
Yeah.
The house and some of his possessions, your dad had amassed a certain amount of wealth and looked like he was pretty successful. So if this business, this new endeavor, doesn't fly or it takes a longer time to get off, is your dad going to go bankrupt or?
Yeah, everything that we have is in this business, including loans on the house, and including a large loan from RBC Bank for the business itself. We're all in.
So how long did your dad think that it should, like, the year and a half that it took to get to this point to get the license, was that longer than it should have been?
We originally projected 9 months, and it became a year. And we thought that as soon as we had the license, contracts would be coming in steadily and easily. We haven't got a contract yet. It hasn't been that long. It's been about, like I said, 3 weeks.
Inside a portable incinerator on Millard's farm, police found human remains they believed to be Tim Bosma. A shocking discovery, but the tragedy was far from over.
But yeah, we thought we'd be doing better.
Okay, but 3 weeks, once you get the license, to wait 3 weeks for the business to start, that's not a long time.
No, it's not at all. It's also, we've spent a lot more than we thought we were going to spend too.
Okay. Is there much competition in the MRO business? Or?
Yeah, it's a small number of players, but the competition is fierce between them.
Does your dad own other properties?
Just gotta own something else. There's Maple Gate,
Sorry?
the house we were at.
Yeah.
The hangar.
The Millards were all in-house. Loans, dreams spinned on a failing venture. That pressure is suffocating. But for Dellen, it wasn't just money, it was control. Killing his father, his ex-girlfriend, Tim Bosma, a descent into madness. How does a son justify this? The courtroom saw through his lies, but the pain he caused lingers. This isn't just a legal case, it's a warning. Unchecked greed and power can destroy everything human in us.
So if she was there at 5, why would she come back at 9 or 9:30?
The housekeeper Dina came twice daily, but on the night Wayne died, she returned unusually late. Was it routine, or did she unknowingly step into a scene already tainted by death?
I don't know. Maybe just to clean up the dishes, but it's neither unusual or usual. It wouldn't surprise me that she'd come at 9 at the same time. She doesn't have a regular thing to do at that time, though. She's always come in and out of the house freely whenever she wants.
Okay, does she live nearby?
Yeah, she lives on Redforth, near Bloor.
I noticed a large keyboard in the front hallway where the front door is bolted.
Musical keyboard?
No.
Oh.
A board of keys.
Yes.
Are
Those are all vehicles at the Waterloo Airport.
they're all at the airport?
Yep.
Yeah,
Except maybe my dad's van key. It might be on there.
okay. So those vehicles weren't missing from the home then?
No.
So there's it looked like sports vehicles.
There's a mix. There's about 15 vehicles. We've got some little cars, a couple Jeeps, a couple trucks, a couple vans.
Jet skis and where are they all stored at the hangar as well?
They're all at the hangar. That's one of the items I had to clean off the floor. It didn't look airport enough.
15 vehicles, all locked inside a private hangar. Jet skis, sports cars, and vans. For Dellen Millard, excess was never the question. What he lacked was something deeper. Control.
All right. Anything else?
No, just did you know if your dad had a girlfriend or anyone involved in his life?
Mm-hmm. About a week ago, he asked me if I would be all right with him seeing a woman called Janet.
Have you ever met her?
No, I've never met her. I was told that she was a cousin-in-law that he's known his whole life.
Did he say how long he's been dating her?
No, but we get calls frequently at night. I'm quite sure that it's just her. And that's been going on for the last year.
Do you know where she lives?
No.
What did you tell your dad when he asked you?
I told him that so long as it didn't create any legal issues with me, I wanted him to go find his happiness.
And was it ever mentioned again since the incident?
Any little detail that you think might be able to help us?
I don't know if anything we've talked about has been helpful or not.
As the clock struck 2:19 a.m., the interview ended, but the evidence was overwhelming. 3 murders, 1 sentence. Dellen Millard would never see freedom again, not before age 103. Dellen Millard, a millionaire born into luxury, paid the ultimate price for the horrific crimes he committed. From murdering his ex-girlfriend, an innocent stranger, to his own father, Millard was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to a minimum of 75 years in prison, making him eligible for parole only at age 103. This case isn't just about murder. It's a lesson in how morality can rot in the shadows of power and wealth. If this story made you reflect, drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Exclusive perks are coming soon for our loyal subscribers.
Dellen's sentence 75 years feels like justice, but it can't undo his stolen lives. Wayne, Tim, and L'Oreal. People, not just headlines. This case haunts me because it's not just about how someone can hide evil behind wealth and murder. What scares me most is how close Dellen came to escaping. Let's reflect. What do we miss in those around us? This story demands we look deeper, beyond the surface, to prevent such darkness from winning again.